Do you mind if I do a very quick test as well? I'm always a bit worried with this
Yeah, go ahead. I think,
sharing.
Sure.
well, why don't you do that while I do an introduction? So we'll have Natalie remove hers and then you can put yours there.
Okay.
All right. So just briefly, I am Jen Mitchell. I am owner and founder of Jen Mitchell Travel. We have been in Naples, Florida for about 7 years now. And we were recently voted Best of the Best in Gulf Shore Magazine for Best Travel Agency. So we're very proud of that accolade. We're also a Virtuoso Agency. And we are a preferred supplier with Belmond, who we have here with us today. So what we like to do is bring to you special guests every week while we are still unable to bring presentations to you live, which actually I find to be kind of fun because we're able to bring to you suppliers who are maybe not based somewhere convenient to meet with you in person, such as Milan. So we can meet with our partners from far and away. So today we have with us Belmond. So Natalie is our Director of Sales for Belmond, and she can go over the entire product line. So everything from their iconic hotels to their trains, their river barges, and their African safaris. We have Antonella here. She is in Italy, and she will be able to talk to us about their Italy and Spain products. And Belmond is very special to me. I love how classic their product is, and you know, everything across the board. While each of their hotels are very individual, I find like when you go there, the expectation of what you'll receive as far as service and room product and just that classic feeling of walking into their hotels or stepping on their trains is so special. And I'll let Natalie talk to you more about Belmond, but just for me personally, in Italy last year when I visited some of the properties, I was just so happy to be able to visit some of these wonderful places, and I really do feel like they stand out from the crowd when you're, you know, traveling through Italy. They definitely make an impression, at least as far as I felt when I was there. So I'll let Natalie start and kind of give you a little overview, and then we'll talk specifically about Italy and Spain.
Very good. Thank you, Jen, and thank you all so much for joining us today. We're so happy to be with you and tell you about the wonderful world of Belmond. Jen, before I move on, can you see my screen okay? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I may have met some of you back in January at the Jen Mitchell Travel Show. We always enjoy attending Jen's events, and hopefully soon we will all be able to meet again in person, hopefully once things calm down a little bit. But during these very challenging times, there is certainly one thing that this moment cannot stop us from doing, and that is dreaming. And today I want to invite you to escape with us to some of our magical properties throughout Italy, Spain, and Portugal. My colleague Antonella is joining us from Milan, and she will be sharing some of the unique experiences that we have to offer there. But first, I would like to start out by sharing with you a bit of who Belmond is, what our philosophy is, and some of the many destinations that we are located in. And I also want to briefly mention how we are operating and protecting our staff and guests in today's new environment. Many people are calling it the new normal, but we certainly like to say it's the temporary normal. And then at the end, we will have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions throughout our presentation, please hold them and we will be happy to answer all of them at the end. So let me tell you about Belmond and LVMH. We were purchased by LVMH last year back in January, and LVMH stands for Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, but everyone calls it LVMH because that is what it's well known as. And it is the world's leading luxury good group. And this now means that Belmond is now part of their world-class family of brands, which we are so proud to be a part of. And I'm sure that you will recognize many of these brands. Now it seems my slides aren't moving. There we go. I'm sure that you will recognize many of these brands. You will see Dior, Fendi, Moet, many brands that you probably recognize, but maybe you didn't realize that they were all owned by LVMH. And LVMH is the only group present in all 5 major sectors of the luxury market. So you have wines and spirits, fashion and leather goods, perfumes and cosmetics, watches and jewelry, and of course, selective retailing. So though you see many of these brands that you recognize, I'm sure you didn't know they were all owned by LVMH. And that is simply because LVMH buys luxury companies and luxury brands and then leaves them alone to be exactly who they are and to do what they do best. So as you can imagine, we were all absolutely thrilled when the sale of the company went through last year and that it was to LVMH. And one of the many things I love about our portfolio, and particularly about our hotels, is that we do not build hotels, we buy them. And we buy them for their location and their historical significance. All of our hotels are iconic and historic. So take, for instance, here the Villa San Michele, which is in Florence. And it's a former 15th century monastery with a facade designed by Michelangelo. So what is more historical than that? And then we move on to, here we go, the Grand Hotel Tomeo, which is in Sicily. And right here, you can see that behind the hotel, we share a wall with a 3,000-year-old Greek theater. And then right at the front of the hotel, we have gorgeous views of Mount Etna. So just imagine yourself sitting out there in the morning, enjoying your cup of coffee, maybe going out in the evening, enjoying your cocktail and looking up at these beautiful views. And this is just one of the many beautiful locations that we have throughout our portfolio. But we're also in Botswana. So we have 3 luxury safari lodges in Botswana, each of them with a different ecosystem. We have here the Belmond Elephant Lodge. And you can see right behind the elephants, there's a little lookout there where you can stand and be absolutely eye level with the elephants. And again, just sit down there, enjoy your coffee, enjoy your cocktail, and spend a little time with the elephants. It's really an amazing experience. And then here is our entire collection. You can see that we are in 24 countries throughout the world, very heavily in Italy and throughout Europe, as well as in South America. So in total, we have 32 hotels. We have the 3 luxury safari lodges in Botswana. We have 7 barges in France, and we like to call these our floating villas because they're very small and can be easily privatized. They accommodate anywhere from 4 to 12 guests. And then we also have 1 river cruiser in Myanmar. And then we have 7 luxury trains. I'm sure you've heard of the famous Venice Simplon Orient Express. That is one of our magical trains that we have as part of our collection. And then we also have 1 restaurant, the historic 21 Club, that is in New York City. So as you can see, we have a beautiful collection of hotels, trains, and cruises. And when it comes to health and safety, Belmond protects. So rest assured that we have implemented a robust cleaning protocol when it comes to cleaning our facilities and rooms before and after each guest arrives. We are making every effort necessary to keep both our guests and staff safe. And I would like to mention that many of our spas, pools, and fitness centers are open, but it's important to know that they do require an appointment to ensure that proper cleaning and physical distancing is taking place. And even with these new hygiene, safety, and security protocols, we're working very hard not to have that sort of clinical feel to any aspect of the stay. We still want you all to feel those emotional, sparkling moments at each of our hotels, trains, and cruises. And it's very important to us that we maintain our warm, genuine, and touching service that people have come to expect here at Belmond. And if you have any questions regarding the health and safety at any of our properties, you can always reach out to the team at Jen Mitchell Travel. They will be happy to answer any of your questions or concerns. They have all of our information, and we're a team, and our #1 priority is really to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable when traveling with us. So before I turn it over to Antonella, I would like to tell you about a few of our properties that we have in North America. Since, of course, travel is a little challenging going to Europe right now, hopefully we will all be able and allowed to go there very soon. So let me tell you about what we have in the U.S. While we don't have a lot in the U.S., we do have the best on coast to coast. So on the East Coast, we have Belmond Charleston Place, which is in Charleston, South Carolina. And then on the West Coast, we have Belmond El Encanto, which is out in California and has beautiful views of the California coast. I don't know why I'm having trouble changing slides here. So here is a photo of Belmond El Encanto. It's perched up high in the Santa Barbara Hills. It's only about 5 minutes from the city center, and it's surrounded by 8 acres of gardens. So you talk about outdoor space. As you can see here, we have plenty of space for al fresco dining out on the terraces, beautiful, beautiful landscaping around. And I would like to mention that this photo was taken pre-COVID, so you'll notice that many of the pool chairs are a little close together, as well as some of the dining tables. But rest assured that we have updated all of that now to have proper distancing. And again, 8 acres, and the property is made up of individual cottages. So you see here we have our craftsman cottages on the right and our Spanish colonial cottages there on the left. And we have a variety of different accommodations spread across the property. So whether you're looking to go as a family, a group of friends traveling together, a couple's getaway, the beauty of these cottages is that they are standalone, and many of them can be connected. They're connected buildings, so you can turn them into your own little private oasis there. And there's a lot of spacious space throughout this property. As you can see, there's plenty of space around the pool and the beautiful gardens that we have. We can also be flexible with al fresco dining. As I mentioned, many of the rooms are private cottages, so they have lovely little patios for in-room dining, or perhaps if you want to dine in the garden or up by the arbor, we can certainly do that. But some of the most beautiful views of Santa Barbara come from the terrace of the restaurant. And at night I've been there, and Santa Barbara is just like a carpet of lights at your feet. It's really a spectacular place to visit. And now we'll head to the East Coast, to Belmond Charleston Place. This is such a charming little city. It was actually just recently voted again as America's favorite city for the 8th year in a row. And we have Belmond Charleston Place that is right in the middle of the historic district. So it's right in the middle of everything. Perfect location to get out and walk to all of the local shops and restaurants. You're close to Rainbow Row and all of those old historical homes. And I was actually there over the 4th of July weekend, and I took a boat trip out to Fort Sumter, which, if you don't know, that is where the first shots of the American Civil War were fired. So it was really cool to get to go there, and we took a little boat trip out. So that was really fun. But also the horse and carriages are going around now, so you can hop in those and take a tour of the city. I was happy to see that many things were open, pretty much all of the restaurants and shops, and you just have to wear a mask when you're visiting them. But there are also wonderful things to enjoy at the hotel. We have the Palmetto Cafe, which has the best crab salad in Charleston, if you ask me. Or you can grab a cocktail in our lobby bar, which is the Thoroughbred Club. And you can see here we also have a rooftop pool with indoor and outdoor space, and it has gorgeous views of Charleston. And the roof is retractable, so you're allowed to enjoy the pool no matter the season. And also, I'd like to mention that our spa is open with limited appointments. And then we do have the gym and pool facilities, of course, open. So great place to escape to locally. But let me go ahead and turn it over to Antonella to share with us all of the wonderful things about Italy, Spain, and Portugal. So let me turn it over. I will quit sharing my screen. And welcome.
Do you see my screen now? Natalie?
I can't, let's see.
I see it.
You see it?
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm always so scared with this technical part. It's always the worst part of all the presentations. Like, oh my God, is it going to work or not? Thank you, Natalie and Jen, for the introduction. I'm very happy to be with you tonight. For me, it's night at the moment. As Natalie mentioned at the beginning, I am Antonella and I represent Italy and Spain, which means in totally 8 properties that we have in these 2 beautiful countries. And I am actually based in Milan, where we do have our regional sales office for these 8 properties. I could actually speak for 3-4 hours minimum with my 8 hotels, but I will try to be very brief and give you just, you know, some little input. And then obviously, as Natalie mentioned and Jen as well, the team is completely aware of our property. For any information, you just can get back to the team and they will obviously share further details. But very briefly, why choose Italy and Spain for your holiday? Because talking in a very generic way, we are located in the most famous and well-known destination all over especially all over Italy, because we are in Venice, we are in Florence, in the Tuscany countryside, we are in Portofino, which is, as you know, the house of La Dolce Vita. We are on the Amalfi Coast in Sicily, in Taormina, with 2 beautiful properties. And then last but not least, also on the Majorca Island with Belmond La Residencia. So the locations where we are already speak by themselves. I'm sure that probably most of you have already been to one of these destinations. But I always want to underline how the experience that you can do in the destination can be different if you do it together with us in a Belmond way. I'm saying this because, as I mentioned in this very short slide, the location where we are, apart from the fact that they are extremely famous, has an amazing view. All of them has a very unparalleled view over the city, over the lagoon if you're in Venice, over the seaside where we are in Sicily, which is really, really something unique. And obviously, as also Natalie mentioned, we do have a rich historical background in most of our properties. So we are not talking just about an hotel, we are talking about a property which has something unique already when we are talking about the walls. So I mean, monastery, as we mentioned before with Belmond Villa San Michele, we are talking about a castle dating back to the 10th century. We are talking about aristocratic villa dating to the 15th century. So something really, really different, each hotel from the other one. Then obviously all our hotels have amazing and big gardens that have always been, they're always very curated with flowers, with these very traditional Italian terraces. And obviously this is an aspect that not only guarantee to all the guests a very high level of privacy, but obviously, especially nowadays that we know that we are unfortunately still living in a complicated time, the fact that we do have important spaces outdoors allows us, you know, to use the different spaces and being still able to have quite a lot of guests on property with the possibility to really guarantee the proper social distancing. Obviously, our destination, with the fact that we have very big spaces outside, we have kids club, we have a choice of restaurants, we have beautiful pool, are the perfect and ideal location also when we're thinking about family get together. So it's not only like the romantic retreat that you can imagine in Venice, but Venice can also become, for example, the perfect destination if you want to do a full and rich experience also with family and kids. All our hotels have exceptional dining experiences. I mentioned just a couple of them, which are, for example, the Belmond Hotel del Cipriano in Venice and the Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo in Taormina, which has, each of them has got a 1-star Michelin restaurant on property. Then obviously it doesn't mean that the other restaurants are not so good, but you know, the fact that we also have this great recognition in our properties just basically underline how important it is for us to make the experience in our property complete, a full experience, also with a very important signature on the gastronomy part. We are easily accessible. We are not too close to the city center, none of our properties, but we are very close to the city center, sorry. But at the same time, we are far enough to be able to completely disconnect and being away from the hustle and bustle, which is something as well very important, because one of our main pillar in our philosophy is the one to allow our guests to disconnect. And we can do it because, for example, just to mention, as we said, Portofino, we are only less than 10 minutes walking from the Piazzetta. In Taormina, we are like 10, not even, like 6 minutes walking from the city center. So you can see that you can easily go everywhere, but at the same time, when you are fed up of shopping and going everywhere, you can easily take your free shuttle, take your free boat, or take a nice walk and go back to your hotel, when you can really relax with a beautiful view, the amazing restaurant, a nice cocktail, sitting in one of our outdoor spaces. Obviously, we have all over Belmond dedicating and expert staff. We are proud enough to mention that we do have colleagues that work on properties since 25, 30, 35 years. That means that our concierge, for example, our doorman, they have a very punctual and unparalleled expertise on the destination where we are, so they can really give you all the right advices, and they can really support you when you want to do something a little bit different. And talking about something different, and the thing that I mentioned at the very beginning, every year, as Belmond, each hotel always wants to suggest something different in terms of experiences. So there are some activities that we suggest in each destination that can be obviously booked through our concierge, that are unique, that can be done only via Belmond and via our contacts. This is very simple. This very reason behind it is that we really want our guests to leave the destination in a unique and proper way, and we like to call ourselves like the door to the destination. So it has to be like a starting point for an amazing experience. But let's go a little bit more in detail. So we are in Venice. Belmond Hotel Cipriani is only 5 minutes far away from San Marco Square, and it has the most privileged view over the city, because we are exactly in front of the city. And you can imagine the experience that you can have just taking a boat, our Shirley, our wooden boat in San Marco Square, and then reach your hotel, the Belmond Hotel Cipriani, by boat. Here you can see, as I said, just in front of you, there is the city, our big hotel, which has one of the biggest, not one of, the biggest pool in Venice, an amazing garden. We even have a beautiful vineyard when we can organize maybe a little dinner if you want to do something a little bit different with your family and friends when you are in Venice. It's the biggest property that we have in our portfolio. I'm talking about 96 rooms, so it's not a huge one, but still it is quite interesting, because most of the rooms have an amazing view over the lagoon. This is, for example, our top suite, the Palladio suite, that you can see with these big windows over the lagoon. Our Oro restaurant, which I mentioned you, as an amazing experience that has to be tried at least one, because our chef Bizetto works a lot with the territory as well, like all our chefs. So there is a strong connection with his cuisine and the product that you can find locally. But as I mentioned, like in all our hotels, we do have a different choice. So you can decide to have in the same experience, like something unique, like a Michelin star experiences, but then you can have like a nice pizza in our Porticciolo restaurant, or you can have like a very traditional Venetian dinner in our Chips Club with the most beautiful view over San Marco Square. I mentioned you our beautiful gardens. And in terms of activities, what I want to mention is, for example, the fact that we recently experienced this unique activity, which is something quite strange if you think, because going by bicycle in Venice is not something that you think to do like every day, but it is an amazing experience. I did it personally, so you just really take your time, this kind of dolce far niente, which is this sweet doing nothing that has been one of our campaign recently, and you just slowly walk down through the little Pellestrina Island, and you end up and visit some of the farms that are on the island. Tuscany. In Tuscany, we do have two properties, which is a great opportunity for us as well, because it allows us to suggest a combination with the two properties. The reason behind is that Belmond Villa San Michele, which is the ancient monastery that Natalie shows us before, it is based in Florence, just 15 minutes far from the city center, with the free shuttle that just leave you in Piazza della Repubblica. But as you can see here, the main entrance, but just under your feet, you can have Florence. So there is this amazing view that really makes the property unique. And you know that Florence is a destination itself. It's very different from the experience that you can have in the countryside, let's say, you know, like the proper Tuscany countryside. So it is something a little bit different. And you can leave it here because you're in an ancient monastery, you have all the Italian terraces, and you can see all the room are spread out in these beautiful terrace gardens. Then obviously is available throughout the season, so you can have a nice cocktail there, you can have a little dinner, whatever you're planning. But apart from this very traditional style, the interesting thing is that you can actually combine Florence and this experience in the city with our beautiful Castello di Casole. The idea is actually to be still under the Belmond umbrella, but at the same it's the ancient castle dating back to the 10th century. You can see the little tower in the middle. It is still an original part of this medieval village. It's the smallest property that we have in the collection, with 39 rooms. They are basically all junior suite and suites in a very traditional Tuscan style. As you can see, there is a cotto fiorentino, there is this traditional yellowish color on the walls, which is something extremely authentic that you can find in every single real house around Tuscany. So this is something that really characterizes all our properties, the fact that we really want to reflect and being authentic in the destination, in the location where we are. So there is this authenticity, there is this journey to the destination, there is a strong connection with the local community as well. And I show you before the picture with the farm, with the activity that we do in the farm, that led us to be strongly connecting with the community as well. As you can see, all our rooms are very big, very spacious, very traditional, and obviously if we go to Tuscany, we had to think about some good wine, some good food, which is also, you know, something that we are quite proud to say, that we do also have our own wine at Castello di Casole, because it is in a property that it has more than 4,200 acres of land that belongs to the hotel itself. So this is something as well pretty unique, that allows us to do a lot of activities on properties. So we're talking about truffle hunting, we're talking about taking a biking tour, and everything always being on property. A very interesting activity that we suggest that can be done for a couple of people, or maybe a little family, like a little group, is the fact that we manage with an historical expert to organize a workshop where we basically create perfumes and soap as all the Etruscan used to do, because the area was very famous at the Etruscan time. So it's a very nice experience that you don't expect, and at the end you finish with your little soap made with flowers, with oil, etc., that you can bring it home, and it's a very nice half-day experience that you can try. And I also need to underline that Belmond Castello di Casole last year has been nominated one of the best spots in Italy for the stargazing. So we have like this certificate, and we are organizing quite a lot of activities connecting with this great opportunity that we have to really look at the stars in its best way. And this is possible also because, as I said, we are in this huge park that belongs to us. So there are no traffic, it's very silent, and obviously there is no light pollution. Splendido and Splendido Mare. We are in Portofino. Everybody knows Portofino as the House of La Dolce Vita, and our hotel is basically the most glamorous location probably all over the world. Madonna celebrated his birthday there, to be a little bit, talking about something more recent, but then obviously Liz Taylor, Richard Barton, Greta Garbo, and so on and so on. The Belmond Splendido Mare is the little sister with only 14 rooms, and it is at the moment under total renovation. So it's going to be ready next year with a beautiful new complete feeling. It's going to be completely renovated. The room are going to be a little bit bigger and brighter, so it's going to change quite a lot, but I don't want to spoil it. You will see it next year when everything will be finished. But we will obviously keep our beautiful restaurant, which is the Fly Bar, which is exactly in the Piazzetta, so basically where everything happens when you are in Portofino. And obviously the most famous one, the icon, Belmond Splendido. So we are on the hill with this amazing view over the Bay of Portofino. We are talking about 70 rooms here. Most of them has this white, beautiful, bright color, and this amazing view over the Bay of Portofino. As you can see in the other pictures that I showed you before as well, each room has its own personality. So we really want the guests to feel like in their proper house. And when they wake up in the morning, they need to know exactly where they are. Like, oh my gosh, I'm in Tuscany, and I'm sure I'm in Portofino in this moment. As you can see, these very beautiful big spaces around. Our restaurant, La Terrazza, is probably one of the most famous restaurants as well in Portofino, because with this amazing view, it's probably one of the most Instagrammed restaurants that there are in Portofino. And another of the activities that I want to mention to you, which is extremely, extremely liked by our guests, is the possibility to go on the Mount of Portofino, which is just behind your hotel. It's a natural reserve, so there are a lot of protected flowers and plants, and we can organize there amazing view over the sea. From Amalfi. So a little bit, as I said before, out of the hustle and bustle. We are talking about an aristocratic palace, as you can see here, with a huge, amazing garden that has been maintained and restored and preserved completely in the last year. Rooms are here as well, quite traditional. They're all very bright. Most of them has got a beautiful view over the Amalfi Coast on the side towards Maiori and Minori. There are a lot of ceramics from the Letri, and you can see, for example, in one of the junior suite as well, how peculiar some of them are compared to the other, with a very careful and precious job that has been done also in the past to preserve the authenticity of the building as well and maintain all the little characteristics. We have a beautiful restaurant with this amazing view. Our chef Mimmo is from the area, so this is the place where you can actually enjoy a proper dinner or lunch that is from Napoli, that is from the Amalfi Coast. So I'm talking also about amazing mozzarella, a wonderful pizza that you can have in our pool restaurant. And this variety of tomatoes, the smallest one, the biggest one, the yellow one, it's really, really unique. Here is a pizza. It's amazing. It's one of the best pizza I ever had in my life. One of the nice excursions that I want to mention you is the one to Cetara. I don't know if you are aware of the Collatura di Alici, which is basically this water that came out from the Alici. Oh my God, I don't know the name in English of these little fishes. Now the name doesn't come into my mind, but you see it in the picture. The water that came out from the work that they are doing to put them then in a little vase with oil to eat them. This water is amazing to cook pasta. You just boil your spaghetti, you put the Collatura di Alici on top of it, super easy. And the pasta is so fishy and he has this amazing smell and flavor of the sea, which is unbelievable. And the way that they are still doing is the very ancient way that they used to do since ages and ages. And we have the opportunity to go there and visit and see on directly how they do it the very old way. Belmond Villa Margherita is basically inside the Belmond Hotel Caruso, just 2 minutes walking from the main building. It is an amazing property. There are basically 2 suites. Each suite is around 100 square meter each, one on the first floor, one on the ground floor. And they can be basically booked on a private basis, like one suite or the other one, or you can also have the villa on an exclusive use. So you have like the 2 rooms. You can have your private villa on the Amalfi Coast with your private butler, with your private chef. You have this amazing garden where you can do like a special dinner and everything. And you are basically just 2 minutes from the main building, which means that you have a total privacy and exclusivity of your own villa, but at the same time you have all the services that the Belmond Hotel Caruso can guarantee to the guest. Sicily is one of my favorite regions in Italy. It is just so rich of everything. There is the nature, the gastronomy, the culture, the seaside is stunning. There is the Mount Etna, which is the highest active volcano in Europe. Our hotels are based in Taormina, which is on the east side, close to Catania, which is the part of the region which is more developed compared to the other in terms of infrastructures, restaurants, services, and everything. This is the view that you have from Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo. As Natalie said, we are basically just next door to the Greek Theatre, which is an amazing Greek amphitheater dating back to more than 3,000 years ago. So it's something really unique. The hotel has got a private access to the theater. So it is really a location that has been chosen carefully going back to the 18th century when basically the owner of the little pink house on the left side decided with under the suggestion of his friend Otto Geleng, which was a very famous artist, to open an hotel in Taormina. So basically The Timeo is the first hotel that opened at the time, so we're talking about the 18th century. It's still nowadays is one of the gem, the proper pearl that you can find in Sicily. Beautiful gardens here as well. You just see the theater underneath. We are 5 minutes far away from the city center of Taormina, which is this Corso Umberto, a very beautiful pedestrian area with many, many nice shops for a really great shopping experience. You can see all the rooms in this very traditional Sicilian style. Obviously, I always show the terrace of the presidential suite, because you can imagine you have nearly 100 square meters of a room, and then nearly 200 square meters of a terrace with this unbelievable view over the Mount Etna that you see under the clouds on the right side, and then you have the Bay of Mazzarò just underneath. I mentioned you already our Otto Gelang that actually won the Michelin star just last year. So it has been a great news for us, and we are still celebrating this great achievement of our chef, which is Sicilian as well. So here again, there is this strong connection also with the roots and the historical background of the destination where we are. The interesting thing in Sicily is also the fact that having two properties, we can obviously combine the two different experiences. So we have the most iconic, glamorous, maybe a little bit classic solution in the city center of Taormina, but then we move just 10 minutes away from it, and we are down on the beach with our beautiful Belmond Villa Sant'Andrea, which has this unique private beach with cabanas that can also be privatized on an exclusive views. And here you can see like an overview of the entire property. So we're talking about 70 rooms, all pied and low, with this amazing view over this beautiful sea that we have in Sicily. The beach is a tiny little rocky beach, so it's also quite nice because it's not so hot like the proper sand. You can see here as well the cabanas that can be privatized, and obviously the guest that stays at the Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo can go and use the private beach, and obviously, and vice versa, the guests that are at Belmond Villa Sant'Andrea can obviously use all the services that we have at Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo. They're just 10 minutes away from each other, and there is a free shuttle that can take you up and down. You see here the style, which is a little bit different than the Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo, because obviously we are down to the beach. So maybe the atmosphere at Belmond Villa Sant'Andrea, it is a little bit more relaxed, if you understand what I mean, because you are on the beach, so everything is bright, white, blue. But obviously, the service and the quality and the attention that all our staff put in every single detail during the day is exactly the same as all the other Belmond properties. One of the activities that obviously I need to mention is the excursion of the Mount Etna, which is unbelievable. And then you come down from the Mount Etna, you end up in a little vineyard, you have a little wine tasting, and then you go back to the hotel. Or obviously, there are also some of these new experiences that we suggested last year and this year, which is this beautiful boat trip that you can go, that you can do in the little villages that are close to Catania, where there are these master boat builders, and they are still building this little fishing boat as they used to do back in times. So it's a really authentic experience, and you go in touch with proper Sicilian families. You have a little simple, easy lunch with them, which is just something unique. And I should say again that the food in Sicily is just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Last but not least, Belmond La Residencia. We are on the Majorca Island. Probably a completely different experience than the one you could maybe expect on the Majorca Island. So we are not talking about, the big white beaches, big hotels, etc. We are in Deia. It's a tiny little village, only 40 minutes far from from Palma. It's a very authentic village that has been, it actually become very famous in the 60s when there has been a movement of artists from UK that moved to the and they were like looking for a place where to find peace and a little bit of inspiration, where to be free, you know, to express their art. And they moved all to the village itself has been completely renovated but preserved 100%. So it is exactly authentic as it was when they actually found it years ago. As you can see, the hotel as well, it's an authentic farmhouse, original building. And this is very important because you see from here, the atmosphere, the view of the village, it's something really, really unique and original. This movement of artists hasn't stopped. It means that still in there is like a little atelier every corner. There are artists everywhere, building, paintings everywhere. And even us on property, we do have our resident artists. We have an original collection of Miro drawings inside our restaurant. So we have 25 original Miro drawings in our restaurant. We have more than 700 pieces of art around the hotel. And this again underlined the strong connection that we do have with our community. In the and at Belmond La Residencia, so the most important thing are basically art and nature. I'm mentioning nature because the mountains where we are located, the Tramontana Mountains, are UNESCO heritage. So again, like many of our properties all over the world, we are in a UNESCO heritage site or very close to it. The hotel has 70 rooms. You see the extremely authentic Mallorquin style with all this wood. The type of bed is one of beds that you can find in any Mallorquin house around the island. And obviously our chef Guillermo, which again is from Mallorca, so it's regional of the area, has this very strong connection with the community, and the seasonality and the type of food that we cook on our properties are just amazing. Let me just mention one of our stunning suite, which is the Matthew Williamson suite. Matthew is basically a very important designer from UK, from London. He is very affectionated with Daya. He has got a house there. And so we decided to create this collaboration with him. And we have this amazing suite, which is basically in a separated villa, again, that can be privatized. You can have like this very high level of privacy, etc. And the style that you can see is extremely unique. It's just beautiful. And in terms of activities, so that I'm going towards the end because I've been talking probably quite a lot. We have a lot of activities connecting, obviously, with the seaside, which is amazing on Mallorca. We do have our donkeys on property, Alba, Pancho, and Luna, and now we have a new one, a new baby. Since we own a very big portion of mountain as well, we organize this amazing activity. We go with the donkeys carrying the food. The people walk because the donkeys are a little bit lazy, so they just carry a little bit of food, and then we walk up on the mountains. There is a very nice path that goes up, and we have a little cottage on the mountain that we restore, and we end up there having this beautiful lunch, like chorizo, cheese, a glass of red wine, some bread burn on the fire. So very simple, very easy food, I may say, but extremely traditional and very, very, very delicious. And you go up there with the donkeys that live with us. Let me just don't mention the part of COVID because Natalie already did it very well. A very short overview, just trying to let you remember a few things. Belmond Hotel Cipriani, 5 minutes far away from San Mar Square. You reach the hotel by boat. Belmond Villa San Michele and Belmond Castello di Casole, the perfect combination, Tuscan gems. So you can have Florence and the authentic original Tuscan countryside. Splendido in Portofino, this is La Dolce Vita. Belmond Hotel Caruso is your balcony on the Amalfi Coast. Belmond Grand Hotel Timeo, it's not possible to forget that amazing view over the Mount Etna. Belmond Villa Sant'Andrea, you have your private beach. And finally, Belmond La Residencia, where you can have this amazing and unique experience with a strong connection with art and nature. I think I'm done.
Well, thank you so much. That was wonderful. And it certainly brought back memories of my trip last year where we got to visit some of those wonderful places. I particularly loved Villa San Andrea. I thought it was just amazing. Seaside retreat, like it felt like we were in the 20s, like at a beach club, and it was just so special. And the rooms, we loved the rooms.
Yes, they are so beautiful, so bright, and you just open the door, the window, and the sea is just basically under your feet. It's amazing. It's true. And if you think, Jen, that it was a villa, it was an aristocratic villa belonging to an Englishman that came to Sicily in order to build the railway in Sicily.
Wow.
So you need to go back many, many years. There are a lot of stories beyond our properties. Like
you can feel the history in there for sure. Yeah. So I was curious. So what as far as Italy goes, what are you seeing kind of the trends for next year?
You mean in terms of
21?
Oh, I wish I know it. I mean, Jen, to be honest, the situation now, and I'm touching wood, in Italy is getting better and better in terms of numbers, contagious, whatever. It's actually really good at the moment. Everything is open. Obviously, we still need to recover all the months that we have in the past, but also all our hotels are open. We open them all. So the Cipriani and the Splendid open in mid-June, beginning of July, we open all the others. They're working quite well. To be honest, even more than what we were expecting. Obviously, we miss you. We want people to really start and travel again. Personally, I was supposed to come to the US 5 times this year. I was just looking forward to it. April in Los Angeles, June in New York, September in Las Vegas. It was just an amazing year, but everything we know. So if it keeps going this way, it is going quite well at the moment. Also in terms, of events, people get together. We don't have many restrictions at the moment. It seems like that the only thing is maintaining the 1 meter at the moment, but we are not obliged to wear masks anymore when we are outside. So we can just walk around without masks. We only need to wear the mask when we enter shops and restaurants. But it is much better. So if it keep going this way, I am very positive that next year we will have finally a normal year. I mean, I say that. I don't know what you think about it.
No, I mean, I just like to hear, what's going on in each country, because for us, especially for you all, I know our clients are very anxious to travel. They're just waiting. So there's a lot of pause. And I anticipate that the last quarter is when we're going to start seeing clients plan into 2021, unless they've already moved it from last year. But I'm talking about completely new business. So we're hopeful. Yeah. That's all we can do. But
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Jen, there are so many factors that are not even under our power that that can change. Because if it could be for me, like I would be on a plane right now to wherever, Detroit. I don't know. just need to go.
Naples,
But
Naples.
oh wow, Naples! I was in Naples. Was it 2 years ago? I spent a couple of nights here. Oh my God, I love it. This big, the beach with the big things on the seaside. What's the name? Like it's not the harbor.
The pier?
Oh, yeah, sorry, yes. Yeah, with the beautiful pier, and there was this amazing sunset. I will never forget it.
Yes, we have great sunsets, for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, you know, Jen, we need to travel. We love travel, and this is
It's in our
something that we are
blood.
all missing a lot. And I'm sure it's gonna come back because
Yeah.
we are not made to stop. We are made to travel. We just need to
Absolutely.
wait the right time. Be quite patient, at least for a couple of months more. But I'm sure it's gonna be. It must go back
Yeah.
to the way of travel we used to have before.
Well, did anyone else have any questions? Monica, do you have any questions? I see you're on mute, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Actually, I wanted to hear more about the Belmond trains.
Okay. Natalie, do you want to touch on that for a minute?
Sure. I mean, we have a beautiful collection of trains throughout Europe. The Venice Simplon Orient Express, of course, is the most popular, and it goes anywhere from London to Venice. We do a trip once or twice a year to Istanbul. Goes all throughout Europe, and it's only a one-night journey trip. So the thing with the VSOE, how we refer to it as, it's of course this old historical train, so it doesn't have full bathrooms on board with showers and all of that. So we do have, you know, toilets and sinks and those things, but doesn't have a shower on board. So if you're doing, say, a trip to Istanbul where it will take a couple of days to journey there, you would stop and spend a night in a hotel, then you would get back on the train, then you would spend another night at a hotel, then you would get back on the train. So it really is a beautiful journey to travel that way. But we also have the Royal Scotsman, we have the Grand Hibernian that goes throughout London, Ireland. And then we also have a train in London as well. So lots in Europe, and then we have 2 trains that are in South America. So if you're interested in doing Machu Picchu, we have the Hiram Bingham that goes in between Machu Picchu and Cusco. And then we also have the Andean Explorer that goes from Cusco down to Puno, and it actually goes over the Andes. So it's the highest altitude train in the world, which is also a really special experience. So
Did you have any
if you're
particular
interested
And are those more than one night?
Those trains have full ensuite bathrooms on them. The VSOE is the only one that does not. And then we have one train that just does day journeys throughout London. So that's not one that you spend the night on, but all of the other ones that you overnight have the full bathrooms on them.
Great, thank you.
But if I may add, Monica, because I've been lucky enough to live the experience of the Venice Simplon Orient Express, and it has been because there is a strong connection between the train and the Belmond Hotel Cipriani, because the most the most travel trip is from London to Venice and Venice London, so they do it twice a week. So we work a lot with the train in Venice. And the experience is like you don't pay attention to the fact that there is no shower or you need to share, you know, the bathroom, because you are basically traveling in time. And even just jumping on the train, and you need to be all dressed up, because, you know, the motto is you are never too dressed, too elegant for the train, and you really have this amazing feeling. And when I was there was like this beautiful Japanese woman with a beautiful kimono and all this everything. The atmosphere is amazing. It's like they're all friends, and the service is unbelievable. The food, even if you are sitting on the train, is just something that you don't imagine on a train.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really an experience that that has to be done to really understand how unbelievable it is to travel in time. I was super happy when I did it. And I did it with my sister. So, you know, it was not like just only on a business trip. It was with my sister, and she was like, her mind was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
unbelievable. And all the people taking pictures of the train, and you're on the train and you smile. It is something unique.
It sounds wonderful. Thank
It
you.
does.
Well, thank you so much. And if you have any questions for us, please feel free to email me, jen@jenmitchelltravel.com, or you can
Okay.
call us at 239-593-6101. And thank you guys so much for joining us. I know it's late for you, so I'm sure you're off to
Thank you.
bed.
No problem.
Thank you. All right. Well,
Thank
thanks,
you very
guys.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.